So, thank you very much for having me today and having me speak about something I really love so much. And I believe that in some years' time, I'll have people from this conversation who would actually reach out to me to say that, okay, what you actually told me this day, that day, Saturday, 27th of April, actually like made a lot of difference in my life, and I was able to implement most of the things you said. So to start with, my name is Roseline Adewuyi, and I'm not married, so I'm Miss Roseline Adewuyi. So I know you may not know, but it's fine actually. So it's Miss. I'm not married, and I said my name is Roseline Adewuyi, and the topic for today is positioning for global relevance. And I think I have quite. I don't want to say all the time to myself, but I think the last time I did something similar, I was actually constrained by time, but this time around, I think I don't think I'm really constrained by time. Yeah, so I should be able to really go into details and talk extensively as much as possible. And again, please take note of everything we're going to say today, because after the conversation, we are going to have like a task to do. So please, I would really implore you to really listen attentively. And I'll be sharing my experience based on my own journey. I'm into, like, I would say, social entrepreneurship, like social impact and all that. So if you are really like someone who is into like entrepreneurship, of course you can still learn some things about what I'm going to say today, but that's really not my own like core area or area of expertise. But of course, there's some generic things that you'll be able to also like learn from. So this is basically my own journey, my own experience. So far so good. So the topic is positioning for global relevance. And one thing I would love to say is that, okay, why do I think I'm a perfect fit for this kind of conversation, positioning for global relevance? My life journey, I've actually been able to annex a lot of fully funded opportunities. I've been able to, have that global relevance in my journey, in my work, or something like that. Of course, I'm not there yet. I'm still a work in progress in my journey, so to say. But just to share a little bit about myself, my experience, my journey, just for you to have an idea. So that will give you an overview of, okay, this person talking to us, does she even have what it takes to even like speak to the topic, so to say. So my name is Roseline Adewuyi. I studied French in school from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. I finished with the first class at Obafemi Awolowo University, best student in my department, and also best female graduating student in my Faculty of Arts, when I finished from Obafemi Awolowo University. Then from there, I moved on to University of Ibadan for my, or let me say, after my undergraduate, I actually served NYC. I served at University of Ilorin. That was my place of primary assignment. And after I finished my service, I was actually awarded one of the most outstanding corps member in Kwara State. I was given a state honors award for my services for my social impact projects and all that. Then afterwards, I did my master's at University of Ibadan. My master's at University of Ibadan. When I finished with my master's, I finished with a distinction from my master's program. Then finished as the best student in my department. So then from there, after my master's program, I worked with the African Union, yes, as a translator and an interpreter for like 18 months, thereabouts. Then after my working with the African Union, I continue with my PhD program. So presently, I'm a PhD candidate or PhD student in the US, Purdue University, doing French literature. And my second year as a PhD student, I won Student of the Year in my university. And so far, so good. I've won like 12 awards or so in my university so far. And generally, to beyond all these things I've been able to do, my social impact project or my gender advocacy project has been featured by a lot of media organizations in Nigeria, like the Punch newspaper, the Tribune newspaper, Vanguard newspaper, and BBC has featured my work, and even the most recent one, United Nations, featured my works on gender advocacy. And I've been to 17 countries so far, based on quite a lot of opportunities I've been able to harness. So that was what I just want to say. So that's of course, most times I'm always very I try to be humble, let me just put that way, or try to play small, something like that. But I believe that for me to be able to start this conversation today, it's very important to be able to say, okay, yes, this person talking to us, who is she? Why is she well equipped to talk to us about this? So just that's why I felt like that was really necessary for me to share that about myself. So you have like, okay, an overview of, okay, this person talking to us, with she and everything. So let me just continue. So my introduction of myself, of course, I know I've told you some things about myself, but then just to continue, my name is Roseline Adewuyi. I'm a PhD French literature student with a graduate concentration in women, gender, and sexuality studies at Purdue University, USA. I'm in the US. I'm a social educator. I'm a blogger. I'm a gender advocate. I have a website, roselineadewi.com. So if you want to like just have a kind of brief overview about my journey so far, you can always go to my website, roselineadewi.com. You should be able to find some, yeah, random names about my journey. Then also you can also check my Wikipedia page too. My Wikipedia page too also has like quite an overview about my journey to so far, like a brief overview, I would say. My website has a lot much more than my Wikipedia page is just like a kind of just brief overview. Yeah, but that's just a little bit about myself. So let's continue. Now, let's actually talk about global relevance. Before I actually like go into the conversation about global relevance itself, I would like to say first and foremost, I would like to implore you that you need to have access. Like, so now that I would say in this life that like different categories of people. Some people will actually have global relevance because of the kind of families they come from. Maybe they're from privileged family, and maybe their parents, their relatives, so to say, were actually like, pave the way for them. We actually like, raise their hands or something like that, pull them up or something like that. While for some people, it's just like a one-off thing, so to say. Like some people will just actually write something viral on Twitter or social media, and that will just blow them. And from there, they will build up on that momentum, and they will actually like, catalyze their way up there. There are people like that. There are also some people who will actually have to do the work themselves. So please hold on. I'm just a minute, please. Hello, I'm so sorry about that. So I live in a shared apartment, so I just have to like cut the noise a little bit. Yes. So oh yeah, so talking about global relevance, it's very important for you to have like, yeah, so like I said, different categories of people. While some people like us, we have to like, go for it ourselves. We have to do the work ourselves, and by doing the work, we need to have access to information. So I always tell people that information is very, very important in life. There's a saying in Yoruba. Pardon me for people who don't understand Yoruba, but they say something like information lay off info. In English, meaning that it is actually information that will actually catalyze you to soaring in life, to going up there in life. And that's actually, I would say that I'm actually like a big testament of having access to information. So for me, like, I told you that I've had access to 17, like, I've been to 17 countries, and 97% of these countries I've been to, they're as a result of getting access to fully funded programs, fully funded opportunities that I applied for. Although these opportunities are very, very competitive, however, of course, I got them and I was able to, harness these opportunities. And back then in those days, I was able to harness this information, these opportunities by checking this website that down my screen almost every day. The way you check WhatsApp like regularly. That was where I used to check it back then in those days. I do not check them regularly as much these days because life is busier now, and getting to even attend some of these programs may not be too feasible at this phase in my life. But if you feel like you can do that, of course, go for it. So information is very important. So these are the opportunities. The first two opportunities I highlighted here, even because I actually shared quite a lot of opportunities here, and you may not be able to like go through all the opportunities every day. But if you can actually access the first two, opportunitydesk.org, opportunitiesforafricans.com, like regularly, you're good to go. At least those two websites actually share quite a lot of opportunities, especially fully funded programs. Some of those websites, some of them share both fully funded, funded, or maybe partially funded opportunities or even like maybe self-funded opportunities. But for me, I really want to go for fully funded opportunities. So the first two websites, so you can go for them: opportunitydesk.org, opportunityforafricans.com. So you can check them out. More opportunity website. You can also check this out, for global relevance. Because if you want to go global, all these programs, and believe me, most of these programs are actually programs that we actually like take you to different countries across the world, and by so doing, you're building your global relevance. Like you see opportunities by United Nations there, you see opportunities by African Union there, and everything. My work with African Union, I was able to get it on opportunitydesk.org. I last year I went to Switzerland for a program by the United Nations, and that opportunity I was able to see it on Opportunity Desk. So, and that way I was able to build my global relevance. So this website actually helped a lot. So I would advise you to keep checking all these opportunities and all that. Yeah, so let me just, so these are more opportunities, so you can check them out to be able to have access to more information. So if you are still listening to me, I just want you to give a thumbs up or something like that, so that I know that at least you guys are following. Okay, yeah, we good. Okay, fine, great. Okay, good. So moving down to story time, story time. So I just want to share about my own personal experience as a student. So I told you that maybe I've been able to harness a lot of awards in my school and everything. So, and I would like to relate it to the fact that information is very important in life. So yes, I know that I'm a Christian, so I'm unapologetic about my faith, and yes, and I always tell people that yes, grace has carried me so far. However, there's also the place of having access to information, and the hard work too. It also matters. One thing I tell people is that so there's something about information in life. I remember when I newly got to my school as a PhD student, my first year. So the way the US system is structured, it's quite different from Nigerian educational system. We get a lot of what's it called now? A lot of emails every single day. Like the emails are a lot. They can be very overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like, can I go through all the emails? So my first year, there are some emails I would actually like just neglect, or maybe I would ignore because they're a lot. You can't go through. Sometimes it's just a lot. You just like just the same thing. So my second year, first semester, I think I actually made a kind of decision for myself that, you know what, be checking your emails, because there are a few times when I check them, I would see some opportunities there. But sometimes we just feel like, oh, maybe not necessary. And I remember that year I told myself, Rose, you have to be very, very committed to checking your emails. Even if you cannot check the emails, maybe in the morning when you get back home, before you sleep, make it a kind of routine for you to check the emails every day before you sleep. So by so doing, I started checking the emails every single day. And by so doing, I was able to get a lot of opportunities. And some of these opportunities, some are competitive, some are not so competitive, but I was able to discover them. And honestly, I always tell people that some people getting opportunities or having global relevance, they may not necessarily be the best people. That's a fact. They may not necessarily be the best, so to say. Of course, over time, they may not be the best. They may actually like become the best because of consistency. That happens. Some are even there and they are not the best. There's someone in a very small village who is better than some people getting global relevance. That's the truth of life. But because the person who is, up there has been able to harness, attention to himself or herself, so it may seem as if this person is better than someone who is somewhere there in a village or something like that. So some opportunities I was able to get as a student, like I told you, I've gotten like 12 awards. I go through the emails in total, check everything, and I'll say, call for awards or something like that, and I would apply. Of course, quite a number of people that in other places too might apply, but because I have had a kind of very strong track record over time, and I've been able to have an idea of how application works and how to really like craft a very compelling application and things like that. So that actually gives me a lot of leverage, and I would apply. And a lot of people like, oh, you keep getting a lot of awards. It's because of information. Information takes you far in life. I always tell people, in fact, we have pieces of information on Google. Even another thing I do, I go on Google randomly, check information, check on opportunities, even beyond the website I actually even showed you. So sometimes go for it. Like honestly, like I said, it's something I always tell people, because it's something I feel like I see people that they're up there and they're not as intelligent, or maybe better, so to say, like as much as some people who are just plain low in life, or maybe just been there. It's a matter of your mindset. It's a matter of how equipped you are to accessing information, and that is the truth of life. It's just about information. Information actually, like, it goes a long way. So I'm trying to do something right now in my life, and honestly, I'm even myself, as much as I feel like I've been able to harness a lot of information in life, I'm still pained, because this is something that, so it's about me being a student, and some pieces of information I should have actually, like, gone for, and that would have actually like equipped me. But when I newly started, nobody was able to tell me, give me, okay, so let me just, I don't want to really go into details, but let me just give you a kind of overview. Like, imagine like an organization telling you to do something for them. But for me, I felt like I wasn't capable of doing that thing. So I rejected that offer, thinking, I don't think I was capable enough. But now, and also that I needed that thing that they were actually telling me to do for them. Imagine. And if I'd done that thing, it would have actually like made a lot of things easy for me. But nobody was able to tell me. Like, if I had maybe come in as a student first year, and I had someone to tell me that, if any organization reaches out to you for this so thing, please accept it, accept the offer. Don't say you cannot do it. Now I'm trying to, it has not been easy for me to get such an offer again. So it's one of those things. So sometimes that's why right now in my department, I'm like I'm my fourth year of my PhD program. People coming in, I always ensure that they have access to information, because some of those things, information that I didn't have during my own time, I was like a loner during my own time. I ensure that like now I'm giving them information that will actually propel them to be able to, like, go far in life, and able to, make them succeed in their scholarly journey, which I didn't have access to. So information, if there is anything I would want you to take away from this conversation today, is that information helps you for global relevance. Information helps you for global relevance. Information helps you for global relevance. So that's one thing. Then now, how to position yourself strategically for global relevance. So now let's go into like details right now and see, okay, what are the things you can do? Like I said, my own journey is actually stems from the whole idea of like social impacts and things like that. For some of you, it can be entrepreneurship. Some people can be creatives in the creatives, arts, things like that. Some people can be content creation and things like that. So it depends on the area you want to look into. So we are different. So for the first thing I would like to say, if you want to position yourself shy for global relevance, first and foremost, define your goals and establish a niche for yourself. Now, like I said, try to find something you're passionate about and try to follow through with that. Maybe clearly articulate your career goals. Identify and carve out a specific niche within your field of interest. So for me, I discovered that I was really passionate about things around girl child education, and that was what I've been actually pursuing over the years. Someone else may say, okay, you know what, I think I want to do something around education for both boys and girls, and that is it. Now, everyone is celebrating today on Okoya. I believe you all know him. Now, Tunde Okoya's niche is education, chess, and slum, and he has been following that through over the years. Another person may say, okay, yes, I want to do something around climate change, and that is what they will keep following through. Another person may say, okay, I want to do something around health, cervical health screening and everything. I have a friend who does something like that, and that's what they follow through. So you can't be a jack of all trades if you want to, like, assess yourself to for, in terms of global relevance. In fact, when you get to that global platform, when you get to that global stage, if they want to actually call out your profile or your bio, they will actually, like, associate you with something. Like they'll say, oh, so person is like Tunde Onakure. Okay, who is it? Okay, chess in this thing. That's what they would actually, like, associate with them. If they would want to call me on a global platform, oh, who is she? Oh, she's a girl child advocate, she's a distant advocate, oh, she's an educator, she's this. If they want to call someone else, oh, she's a climate, or he is a climate change person, different. So you will be associated with something specific. You can't be a jack of all trades. So if you don't have anything you are doing now, try to look inwards and see what you're passionate about. It might not necessarily be social impact. Not everybody will do social impact. It can even be entrepreneurship. Oh, what are you known for? Entrepreneurship in what area? In what field? Or maybe entrepreneurship for clothes, for things. You add uniqueness to what you're doing. So try to find out something that you can actually do. Some people, and this is a word of social media, some people actually harness social media a lot for content creation. They have a niche for their content creation. Okay, yes, they are creating content every day. They talk, they are public speakers, but maybe, okay, they talk about life. Some people talk about even faith, religion. Some people even talk about, education. I have some of my friends, colleagues who are PhD students, and their content creation niche on social media is about life as a PhD student, life as a graduate student, and that's what they follow through, and that's what they are known for, and they are consistent with it. So consistency, actually, now another thing is that if you want to position yourself for global relevance, consistency is very important. I've been on this journey for the past 7 or 8 years, let me say 7 or 8 years now, and a lot of people, when they actually like comment or compliment me, they say, "Oh, Rose, you've been consistent over the years." So, but consistency is not easy, because I also create content, because I'm a gender advocate. I put out content on social media about advocacy, about girl child education. I also commit myself to advocacy, like going to school outreaches, and I've been consistent about this for the past 7, 8 years. But believe me, has it been easy? Not at all. It has not been very easy, because putting out content, it's very draining. And for me, the way I put out content, I put out content everywhere. I put out content on my Facebook, on my Twitter, on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram, on my WhatsApp status, on TikTok. Imagine having a single content and sharing everything across. It takes sometimes, and on my blog, so I have a blog, sometimes it takes like 2 hours to post across all these platforms. But sometimes you just know that you just have to do what you have to do. People who are content creators about their businesses online too, or maybe some people that their content creation is all about food, cooking food, but it's not easy. They will cook food for like maybe 2 hours, and you only see just 1 minute snippet of what they had actually cooked. And for them to film all the things, cut, join, do everything, it's not easy. But some have been consistent over the years. Someone I respect in the old food making business is CCME. I've been following CCME for a very long time, and now she said maybe I think last week I was saying it on her Twitter page that she's almost hitting 1 million followers on YouTube. And I just admire her journey, that she has been consistent over the years. So consistency actually pays. It may seem as if people are not really like seeing you, but believe me, people are seeing you. Now, let me say something about being consistent. You may be getting 2 likes on your post, but don't let that discourage you. Just keep doing it. Of course, while doing it, also ask for feedback from people on how you can get better. But one thing I tell you, people actually notice you. They may not say anything. For example, was it not like in last yeah, talking about consistency, yeah, so someone like me, most of the times when people reach out, when I meet people outside a lot, and they say they know me from social media, and it always amazes me, because some of these people are people that they've never interacted with my post before, they've never liked, they've never commented, but they are seeing what I'm doing. And most times when people actually say they know me from social media, the number one space they always mention is Twitter, then the second one is LinkedIn. People never mention Instagram. But even that LinkedIn, when they tell me that they actually noticed me from LinkedIn, I'm always surprised. Reason why? Because first and foremost, my LinkedIn space over the years, I've been consistent, quite all right. But it's a space whereby I just post and I leave. I don't comment on other people's posts, and I don't really have a lot of engagements. Maybe, let's say, average of 30 likes on my LinkedIn post. But still, when people tell me that they know me on LinkedIn, I'm always surprised. But the thing is that they may not necessarily engage with my posts, but they've noticed my consistency over the years. So I mentioned information, very important. Consistency for global relevance, you need consistency, you need information, very important. So if there are some things I would like you to take away from today, information, you need that for global relevance. You need consistency for global relevance, very, very important. And even more recently, last week, I traveled, and someone was telling me that, "Oh, you know what? I actually know you from Instagram." And that was even funny, because that was the first time anybody would actually tell me that they know me from Instagram. But one thing is that since last year, this year, I was also like very like intentional about building my Instagram page. And gradually, for the very first time, someone told me, "Oh, I know you from Instagram." So these are things that actually like they help you in terms of global relevance, information, consistency. So just carve out a niche for yourself and try to say, okay, how can I actually like do something with this? The second thing is research and explore opportunities. Now maybe you already even have a niche for yourself, and you don't even really know how you can catalyze yourself into global relevance. What are the things you can do? First and foremost, regularly check relevant website for opportunities. I already sent you like list of websites that you can check for opportunities. And honestly, be very, very terrific. I remember days I used to be actively like searching for opportunities. I remember at least in a week, at least I would apply for like three to five opportunities. So you can be that terrific in terms of your search and everything. So check websites for opportunities, because honestly, in this life, one thing about it is that you can actually be a maybe like someone who's a food blogger or maybe an entrepreneur, and you're just doing your thing. Of course, people in your local milieu or local community, they will definitely know you. But for you to be able to have access to some opportunities, you need to, like, apply for them. And one thing that I would say that all these opportunities, what they do is that they actually catalyze people into global relevance. Because most of this, like if you go to opportunity desk, opportunities4africans.com, most of the people that actually like, or most of the organizations, big organizations that you see, that you actually see a lot of opportunities from, they are very, very big organizations. And imagine having access to big organizations. Of course, these organizations will actually amplify your work. They will amplify what you do. They will actually put you out there. They will, people will get to see that yes, this person is, up there, is high there, and with that, people will start seeing you as an authority in your field. People will start seeing you as a thought leader in your field. They'll start seeing you as someone they should respect. So imagine me just doing my thing in the corner of my room and just saying, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Nobody will see me. But if I apply for an opportunity, maybe by a very big organization, and the big organization even like, platforms me, then people say, oh, this person is an authority. For example, now recently, like I told you, United Nations actually featured me. And imagine putting out there, of course, people will start seeing me as an authority in my field, like, oh, for United Nations to even feature her, oh, that means she's a big person, she's this, she's that. Maybe an entrepreneur, and maybe Forbes actually featured your work or your organization. People will start saying that, oh, you're an authority, you are this, you are that. So if you want to pursue yourself, so all this website actually, like, you see tons of opportunities by very top companies, very top organizations in the world, that that if you apply for some of the opportunities there, then it will actually propel you. Naturally, you may not necessarily have access to all these big organizations, because of course you may not necessarily know anybody, but sometimes they may actually create opportunities for people, and they'll just put it online. Okay, we just want 20 people who want to grow, we just want 30 people, and they'll post it on this website and just say, okay, let me just apply for these opportunities. And by so doing, if you get in, you have access to them. And one thing about all these organizations too, sometimes they also like even like profile people to bigger organizations. For example, I always said, so some of the organizations I've been to before, I've been part of before, they also recommend me for bigger opportunities. So that's one thing. Sometimes, okay, for example, now there's one organization, maybe like a small organization, and they have access to like United Nations. United Nations will say, okay, we want, please recommend people from your organization that can do so. Easily they can actually say, oh, we know this person, we can recommend that because I've been part of their network, and a bigger organization is telling them to actually like nominate people from their own network. So that's how it works really. So please, information, consistency, explore opportunities a lot, then conduct independent research to stay informed about current trends and opportunities. So aside also like how will I say it now, okay, yes, conduct independent research to stay. So another thing is that if you want to be global, if you want to be relevant globally, one thing is very important that I would like to say is that please be well equipped, have capacity. Don't be someone who is just doing things and you do not have capacity. Like, for example, now if an organization calls me to come and talk about gender advocacy, and it seems like I've been building my profile all this while and I can't speak to the topic, that won't actually make sense. So even you yourself, read up about what are the new things, what are the new conversations people are having in my field, in my area right now. What are the new things people are talking about? Maybe I'm a climate change expert or something like that. What are the things people are actually talking about in climate change in 2024? In 21st century, do not have like a sort of outdated knowledge in your field. Try to always read up. Follow people in your area that can actually also, like, you can read their things, read online, go to Google, read up on things that are actually like new in your field, so that when they even call, when the opportunity comes, you know that you are well equipped. They will know that yes, this person is, she's a great person, she's a thought leader. Not like they'll call you to come and speak and they'll just be like, oh, she just asked that brand. She has branded herself so well, but she doesn't have content. She doesn't have substance. Of course, that won't make sense. So if you want to build, that global relevance, if you're called upon by an organization and you speak so well and everything, and at the end of the day, even one person in that organization will definitely recommend you for, even bigger platforms. So people who are actually relevant globally, they've been able to build, that substance in smaller platforms, because a lot of them, they'll say, oh, I was recommended. Oh, I was recommended. I was recommended. I was recommended. People who recommend me, they've seen their works and they've seen that they can deliver. If people are seeing your work and they see that you cannot deliver, of course, they will not call you for bigger platforms. They'll not call the person for bigger platforms. And to be relevant globally, you need big platforms. And that is very, very, very important, I would say. So please equip yourself. Even myself, it's a challenge to myself that, okay, yes, I need to read up, read books, try to stay relevant. People can be able to even call on me for, different this thing. I think I received this as a challenge, like maybe some weeks ago. Someone was talking to me and it seemed as if I was just like trying to play small, and I was just focusing on some areas. For example, now I'm a gender advocate, quite all right, and I focus on girl child education. But sometimes some organizations would want me to talk on some other aspects of maybe girl child, and not like girl child of gender advocacy, that are not necessarily in my area, in my expert area. So sometimes too, of course, I do know that in life you need to focus on something. You do not have to be jack of all trades. But sometimes too, especially if that thing is in your area, it's not so bad if you know a little about everything. So sometimes too, it also challenges me that as much as I feel like some areas of gender advocacy may not necessarily be in my niche area, I can also try to know at least about everything, so that if I'm being called upon to actually talk about some of these things, I should still be able to deliver. So that's very important. Another thing, stay informed about organizations. Follow organizations and institutions in your field of interest to stay updated on potential opportunities. If you want to be relevant globally, it's very important. For example, now, if maybe I'm a climate change person, be strategic about following organizations on social media, maybe on Twitter, on Instagram, that actually do things on climate change. Maybe, okay, you can even see through checking themselves, we can see like global conversations or current conversations on climate change. And sometimes another thing is you can like their post, like them, even comment on their post. Someone actually told me about her experience that an organization actually invited her because she was commenting on their post regularly. Like, they will post something about something and she would comment, and not just like comments that are not like insightful, very insightful comments. And they will see that this person has been following us, she has been liking our post, she has been commenting on our post. And one thing is that there was one day they wanted to have what's it called, a very big program, a very big platform. I think it was even African Union. And they've been saying that, oh, she has been liking their post, she has been commenting on their post. And by so doing, they just, invited her, would like you to come and talk, you know. And they sponsored her flights, tickets, feeding, accommodation, everything, because she was following those organizations. And that's one thing I do. Although for me, life is busy, I would have to be sincere and be very sincere with you. I don't necessarily comment on organizations' website like that, because I'm a PhD student and graduate student is very, very demanding. So, but what I do is that I try to like follow them on social media, see their works, what they do, and I like. And if at times I feel like I can comment, I do that. But it's also a challenge. It's something you can do really. Comment on their posts, see what they are doing. Okay, yes, this person, yeah, and go for it. It goes a long way. It prepares you a whole lot. So that's one thing I would say, go for it. And yes, I think that's it. So follow organizations, follow institutions in your feed. And another thing is that, okay, yeah, how to position yourself. Reach out to relevant organizations, expressing your interest and inquiring about potential opportunities. So, if there is something my friends actually tell me about myself, they always say I'm a go-getter. And honestly, I know that I'm a go-getter. One thing is that some of these organizations, very big, even if you are United Nations, even if you are bigger than United Nations, as long as I feel like I want an opportunity from you, it doesn't take me anything to send a message to you, to send an email to you. So, for example, I've actually had access to some what's it called, opportunities in life by just sending emails. And what I tell myself is that highest, what they will tell me is that no, the highest they will tell me is no, or they will not respond to my email, or they will ignore me. And it doesn't take anything away from me. Life continues, life moves on. And if it actually gets to a very, like, the good part of it, they would say yes. I recently got a very big opportunity this year. And how did I get this opportunity? Like, it's a very big opportunity. How did I get, like, I just felt like, I think I want access to this, for me, to this opportunity. And I just felt like, who can I reach out to? I checked like LinkedIn, and I saw, okay, I can reach out to this person. And I reached out to this person. This person is a very top person. And I reached out to the person on LinkedIn. The person did not actually respond to me anyways, because of course, okay, I didn't give up. What did I do? I reached out to the person. I saw that person left out the phone number on LinkedIn. So I felt like, okay, what can I do? Let me send a WhatsApp message and what's it called, text message. Although I felt like when I sent the WhatsApp message, I was a bit cautious because I know some people like, why, more like my privacy. But then I just felt like, ah, yes, the person will talk and life continues, honestly. I sent out WhatsApp messages, no response. I sent out a text, no response. I called, no response. But I kept calling. Then eventually the person picked, and the person was so like, this person at the top of shelf, but the person was so nice to me, responded well, and I just presented my case, and I was able to get that opportunity, and that was that was it. That was it. I reached out and I got the opportunity. But one thing is that if you are reaching out to have something, have a track record, have something you are building upon. So sometimes when I reach out to organizations, I do not reach out to them just in the vague like that. Okay, first and foremost, I introduce myself. I try to also talk about the track record of the work I do. If possible, I tell them about some of the, for example, if I want to reach out to some organizations, I tell them about myself. So this is how I do. Sometimes I reach out to them, I just introduce myself, especially if it's in the area of gender advocacy. Sometimes I can share my Wikipedia page with them, my website with them, the fact that I've worked with African Union before. I just present that, as a first, as a lead. Then from there, tell them what I want from them, go straight to the point, and that's it. So you have to build, I've been able to do that because of the track record I built for myself. But then the thing is that be proactive. Some opportunities will not come to you because you're applying for them in some of these websites thereabout. But sometimes you have to be proactive about going all out for some opportunities. They may tell you no. If you see someone you need something from on LinkedIn, be professional about it. Reach out to them. Yes, they will ignore you, they will not respond to you, or they will tell you no. And life continues. You move on to another person and you can get, so sometimes you get a yes, sometimes you get a no, and that's how life is. Then another thing I would like to say about being proactive about some of these opportunities. Sometimes too, as much as I told you that some of these websites for opportunities, they post things out there for you to be able to be global, to be relevant globally. Sometimes too, you can actually even go on Google. There's some opportunities I've been able to get today that they are not on any website. I go on Google myself to check, maybe Google opportunity for graduate students in America, and I'll see scholarships, I'll see funding, and I'll apply for them. I'll get them. Some websites are not actually showing all these opportunities, but me myself, like, there are some days I actually like, I say, oh, today, I want to check opportunities online. I go on Google, I search for opportunities. Like, and the way I search for opportunity, there is first page of Google. Sometimes I may see some of opportunities maybe at the 10th page, 11th page. I keep checking and checking and checking. Sometimes some people, when they just check the first page and they do not really see what they are looking for, they give up. I don't do that. Sometimes I check the second page, third page, fourth page, fifth page, and I see some opportunities there, and I get. And that way I have access to them, and okay, yes, and therefore you become, global, you become relevant globally, so to say. Then another thing, leverage, craft an impressive CV. Develop a comprehensive and compelling curriculum vitae that aligns your achievements and experiences. So I believe everybody here should have a CV. It's very important. CVs are very, 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 very important. You need to have a CV and make sure it is very compelling. And again, one thing I would like to say that you do not necessarily have to have one CV for everything. You can have different CVs for different things. So I needed to apply for something recently, and I actually shared my CV with a friend of mine that, I needed to apply for something. And what my friend said was that, yes, Roseline, this your CV is very good, but this your CV is not optimized for the opportunity you want to apply for. And I had to like revamp my CV. So sometimes, maybe, for example, I'm a graduate student. There might be a CV that might say, okay, yes, Roseline, we want you to maybe an opportunity around teaching, and maybe my CV is much more, how will I say it, tilted towards gender advocacy. Of course, if I need to do something like that, I will need to, like, highlight or put to the fore aspects of my teaching achievements, competencies more. And of course, I may say at the gender advocacy, but that might just be like, secondary. Or maybe an opportunity, I say, okay, yeah, here we want you to be a researcher. Therefore, I would like to, in that kind of CV, I want to put out my publications more, my conference papers and everything more in that CV, and try to revamp it. So sometimes to do not use one CV for, applying everywhere. Try to say, okay, maybe an opportunity is looking for someone under this. Try to see what's okay. Yes, does my CV fit in? So sometimes there might be need for, changing things around when it comes to your CV for the kind of opportunities you want to apply for. That actually is a thing. Another thing is leverage social media. Utilize social media platforms to showcase your achievements, skills, and aspirations. Honestly, I know this is actually something that has not been easy for me as a person, honestly, because sometimes am always very careful posting things, or I feel a bit laid back when it comes to posting on social media at times, because sometimes to being African, there's always that thing that, oh, if things are going on well for you, try to, hide things, it's still there somewhere. Yeah, I get. And like Yoruba will say, tissue in your batter, like how for what boy, that kind of thing. You want to, like, yeah, that's there. And honestly, I always tell people that it's fine if you do not want to announce your wins on social media. If you want to lay low, it's absolutely fine. We are different. Some people will make it in life without social media. That's a fact. I know people who are doing great things, who are even relevant globally, and they're not using social media. It's fine. If you feel like your field does not need social media, it's absolutely fine. It's not everybody that will be on social media, and that is absolutely fine. But if you do feel like you need to leverage social media, that's another way for you to, be global, to be relevant globally. It's something that is very important. Social media actually helps you, because social media is like a lot of people are seeing you and they see what you do. You put your things out there. But like I said, it's absolutely fine if you do not want to use social media. It's even sometimes, even me myself, myself, I use social media a lot, but sometimes it's still quite a struggle for me to use social media, because it's like, okay, one, creating content is not easy. Like I said, having to create on my content on my Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. It's not always easy for me, but sometimes I have to do what I have to do. And another thing is, okay, so another way, so let me just tell you a story by myself too. So, like I said, sometimes I always feel hesitant to actually post on social media, because one, as an African person, of course, there's always that thing too. It's there, even though I'm in the Western world, there's still that thing there. Then also another thing would be like the whole idea that sometimes when I post certain things, I always feel like, hope people won't be thinking that I'm showing off. In fact, sometimes when I want to post like a win of mine on social media, it takes me like sometimes to be able to put it out there, like, or people won't think I'm showing off. But sometimes when I look at the positive side of it, like, okay, what are we gain from that? It makes me feel like, okay, you know what? You do not have to care about what people say, as long as you're actually like, your motive, your intention. For me, I just feel like that's what matters more for me, and I keep things going. And again, I remember at the beginning of this conversation, when I was introducing myself, I spoke about the fact that I've been featured by quite a number of media organizations, The Punch, Guardian, Tribune, Vanguard, and all these big media newspaper in Nigeria. And one thing about it is that, so let me just say this. Once I post something about myself, like maybe an award or a win on my social media, especially Twitter, I'm actually very, very consistent on Twitter. Twitter is like one of my biggest platforms. When I post on Twitter, most times when I post an award or things like that, I tend to have like maybe over 1,000 likes, over 2,000 likes. And most times, most of this, what's it called? Once I post like this and it goes viral, um, journalists, they actually see what I do. So most times journalists, they will reach out to me. Oh, we saw that you just won an award. We want to feature you. Because journalists themselves, they are actually also looking for stories they want to share. Imagine the old thing they will not call your thing. Like I saw a lot of media organizations showing him. He didn't reach out to them or anything. They saw the work he was doing, and they need stories too. And they carry the story. They reach out to me. In fact, let's say 98% of the time when I post like an award on my Twitter page, a journalist reaches out to me that they want to feature my story. And of course, media is actually a very valid way of being relevant globally. Media organizations, newspaper, all those things, they are very, and that actually helps me with my digital footprints. If you check my name on Google, Roseline Adewuyi, you see a lot of media organizations that have carried my stories, or maybe they featured me and things like that. And that is a very viable way of, a very strong digital footprint for me. Whereby when someone actually wants to check me out on Google, they will actually say a lot of things about me. And those media organizations that have actually platformed me, they've been able to, like, amplify my voices, and they've been able to help my digital footprints. So footprints are very necessary. Oh yes. So I will tell you something that happened, like, so a friend of mine, well, a friend of mine told me about that like some years ago. So this friend of mine has access to like a very big platform with a Commonwealth organization, and he wanted to bring in a friend for that Commonwealth organization opportunity. He had that influence, and he wanted to bring in the friend to be able to, come to that program. So the friend, a female friend, so she actually like just presented herself as someone who is into maybe gender advocacy or maybe climate change or something like that, like that. So she submitted her application. That the friend, that my friend was able, wanted to really help her, but by the time the organization wanted to, like, they went online to check what's it called, a digital footprints, they could not see anything associated with the gender advocacy she was claiming, or climate change she was claiming. Nothing about that. So what they were just saying, pictures of herself slaying and things like that. Of course, there's really nothing wrong about slaying, but of course you should be able to show your workings. Share you get, you should be able to show workings that yes, this is what I'm doing and things like that. So digital footprints are very, very, very important, and that is the way I've been able to leverage it. So sometimes social media can be like, or people may say, oh, you are showing off, you are showing off, but sometimes for me, my why is beyond what people may think about me. It's about the fact that I know that yes, all this putting myself out there, visibility for me is very key. Visibility is very important for you to be global, to be relevant globally. Visibility is very key. If you want to be relevant globally, visibility is key. And in our world today, social media amplifies that. Social media helps with that. It helps a lot. So everyone, please, I would actually like, just if you're very keen on social media can actually prepare you a lot, and have it's I'm actually like a testimony of that. Naturally, all these media organizations, they won't even care about me. They won't even care about who Roseline Adewuyi is. They won't care about, of course. But because when I post those things, and and a lot of people keep liking it, they see that, oh yeah, they want to, feature me and everything. They reach out to me. I'm like, yeah, fine, okay, yes. And that has actually helped my digital footprints over the years, over the months, and so to say. Then another thing, how to position yourself. Demonstrate audacity. Approach opportunities with confidence and audacity, demonstrating your enthusiasm and commitment. So for me, I always say that I'm always audacious when it comes to applying for opportunities. Like, I always like, if an organization is not picking me for an opportunity, then that means maybe it's just too competitive, or maybe there's just something. I don't have a I can't mindset when it comes to applying for opportunities. For me, I always believe that as long as opportunities are concerned, I can do it. I can go for it. They would definitely admit me. So of course, the reason some people may say maybe the reason why it's like that is because I've been able to, I've been able to build a track record for myself. That's why I always feel confident. But you yourself too, you can also try as much as possible. Is someone trying to navigate what's happening? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So like I say, try to build a track record that will actually help you a lot in terms of, please let me know if my time is gone. I don't know how I'm yeah. Coordinator, how many more minutes do I have? I feel like I've been talking a lot. Hello, coordinator.
Yeah, you still have like 1 hour, so you are still on track.
Oh, so I'm still on track then. Questions and answers. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, it's okay. Okay. All right, yeah. So oh, like I said, be very audacious. For me, maybe because I've been able to build a track record over the years and all that, I always believe that an average opportunity would definitely like accept me, or yeah, definitely. And I've been able to know how to like get to know how to access, like know how to craft a very compelling essay over the years. So that helps. I know, oh, this is what they are watching out for. This is what they are watching out for. And that's it. And one thing about me is that when I also apply for opportunities, I try to also add links to my works. So for example, if an organization tells you, if you want to apply for an opportunity and they're actually asking you that, okay, what are the things you are doing in your community? I don't just write essays about the things I'm doing in my community. I also, I also add links to some to prove of what I'm doing. Like I can't just say, okay, yes, I've been doing this in my community, just writing essays. If sometimes at the beginning or maybe towards the end, I can just say, okay, proof of my work can be found on so websites, or maybe I can actually just add a link of some of the works I've been doing, maybe a Google Drive or something like that, so that they don't know that, so that they will know that this person is not just saying things, because people lie. People actually lie. They actually project what they are not doing. So by so doing, they will know that yes, this person is showing workings. Always show workings, like show workings. So that's one thing. Then network at events. Actively participate in events within your industry to expand your network and increase visibility. If you're an entrepreneur, try to attend events that you know that they will actually help you. Although I know I've been hearing about issues whereby I think someone was talking about the fact that there are some events you attend that you know that is just people are just coming there to show off. If you know that it's that kind of event, please don't go. Know the kind of events you also attend. Events that you know that you meet people that will inspire you, and you meet people that will actually also help you, that will prepare you, that you'll be inspired, that you know that yes, I need to do better. My very first opportunity, fully funded program was in 2016, and that was YALI, Young African Leadership Initiative. I always tell people that this program actually helped my life. And that program, I was still very young, and I'm still young anyways, and I was able to like meet people who actually, like, I got inspiration from people. And immediately after that program, I was able to really, really go a long way in terms of, like, I would say that program actually like helped me a lot. It helped my life. I didn't know much about my area social impact when I attended that program. I was just starting out, but I was able to meet people who were really above me, who were really doing a lot of great things. And believe me, those people actually helped me. Like, hearing their stories alone, I was inspired. And when I left that program, I knew that yes, you had to do very well. You had to, go all out. And that was it. I was able to network. They were able to share their stories. And even sometimes some people, they may not necessarily share their stories with you. You may not even have access to them. And one thing I do is, if I know someone that I know that yes, this person is doing well in my field, or I feel like yeah, I can be inspired, I go online, check the person out, and I follow them on social media, and I see what they put out there, their updates and everything. And by so doing, I feel like, yeah, okay, this person is doing this. Okay, yeah, I follow them and I get inspired. And I know people always say something about LinkedIn, that LinkedIn is a place whereby you can be intimidated or you can be depressed by your life when you see people sharing their wins and everything. But one thing I would like to say is that, as much as possible, I understand that sometimes too life can be very, very somehow, whereby maybe when you see people really doing well, you may feel somehow about yourself that okay, I think I'm not doing well enough, I think I'm not doing this enough, or something like that. And you feel like, okay, especially maybe when those people are younger than you, or maybe they're your age mates, I feel like, where's my life? But I always try to always encourage people that we should not see things from the perspective of being intimidated or something like that. We should see it from the aspect of, okay, yes, me too, I should be inspired from their journey. What are they doing? How can I get better? And things like that. So that's one thing. Then another thing is enhance your writing skills. Develop strong writing skills, as clear and articulate communication is essential in applications. If you want to apply for most opportunities, even beyond even people, even social impact or something like that, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you may want to write a grant, you may want to write a proposal, you may want to write all these things. Build your writing skills. Well, I understand that some people can always pay people who are actually experts to write things for them. That also works. But you yourself too, you will also need a level of writing skills for yourself. If I want to apply, I've applied for a lot of opportunities. Some will say 1,000 words, some 4,000 words, some 5,000 words. I've applied for a lot of them. But my writing skills have actually helped me in terms of writing, sharing my storytelling. I try to share my story in my applications, and because of my writing skills, I try to put out my story in a very good way. And one thing I always tell people, person A may be doing things much more than person B, but the way person B will actually like craft the story, it's the same as if person B is doing much more than person A, because of the person's writing skills. So writing skills is very, very important. And also now this world, we now I understand that also when it comes to content creation, I'm a writer. Writing has actually always been my comfort zone over the years. But I hear people who tell me that, oh, Roseline, you, how will I say now? They tell me that we don't read what you write. You write epistles a lot. I know the reading, what's it called, culture in our world today is actually dwindling, which is one thing I've noticed. So even this year, I actually made a commitment to myself to start doing videos. So videos, I understand that people like videos. So trying to put out my message in form of videos and all that. And this is what something that if you feel like you can do, people who actually create content, they do videos a lot and they can be creative about it. So try to also look for, like I said, the world is evolving. Try to see what you can do to be able to, be relevant globally through what is, in vogue and things like that. And people may be doing a lot. It may seem as if a lot of people are doing videos in this world like this, but we always have our own uniqueness. You always have that uniqueness you had to things. That's something I would like to say. Then the next thing I would like to say is that okay, yeah, okay, yes. Another thing, I think this will be the last slide. Craft strong applications. I think I've mentioned this also. When you want to apply for some things, add links to your work to show workings. What else? Writing skills. You can also share it with someone who has. You can also share it with someone who already have access, or someone who already has rather access to that opportunity before, for them to be able to check your application. For example, when I newly started out applying for opportunities, I used to have this friend of mine that would actually check out my, my applications. And one thing he was always telling me then was like, Rose, you are too humble. You are too humble. You are too humble. You are too modest. I was always playing small. I wasn't giving, that big distance. But eventually, I learned that no, when it comes to applying, like I always tell people one thing. If you are a Nigerian, especially if you're a Nigerian, and I believe most of us here are Nigerian, if not everybody, if you're a Nigerian and you're applying for opportunities, I'm saying it right now, it is tough. It is very tough. Nigerians have crazy profiles. Nigerians have crazy profiles, and you are playing small. Oh my god. It's like I don't know why this is actually like giving me this kind of ginger. If I were to be maybe from Burundi, or I'm from Togo, or I'm from maybe a small country, I always tell people that I might have gone farther than this. But because, so let me give you an example of something. If maybe all this website, I know how it works because I've applied for a lot of things over the years, and I've also judged applications too. So I know what goes on when it comes to applying for things. For example, now an organization, they want to select 50 people for a particular opportunity all over the world. And they need like, okay, they want to select 50 people. And they say, okay, you know what? In Africa, we only need 10 people in Africa. Do you understand? And out of 10 people in Africa, of course, Nigerians will actually apply the most. Know how Nigerian, our population. And they say, okay, you know what? We just need, let's say, we need 10 people from Africa. Quite all right. And then we say, okay, we need 3 people from Nigeria. She gets. Now, for example, I can be the 4th best in Nigeria and they will not select me. Or even in Africa and they will not select me. And they will now pick someone who is like the 7th best in Africa, who is a Togolese. Do you understand? And that person will get the opportunity. But because they need 3 people from Nigeria, maybe I'm the 4th, I will miss out from the opportunity. And Nigerians have very strong profiles. I'm saying this, Nigerians have strong profiles. Like even some of my friends that go for some of this like Commonwealth opportunities and everything, and they tell me that when they meet with like colleagues from other African countries or something like that, you just see the difference in terms of skills and things like that. So like the guy was always telling me, Rose, you are playing small. So now even these days when I apply for something, I don't play small. I try to brag. Put of course, don't exaggerate, but put out everything you've done. Don't play small. Like especially if you're Nigerian, don't play small because the competition is fierce. It's tough as a Nigerian. So it's very important. You have to put out a very compelling application. Maybe give people to check it for you. Very, very important. Like I said, very, very important. And the last thing I would like to say is secure quality recommendation letters. Recommendation letters, they actually help a lot. I remember when I used to judge an application, some people would just bring out they would just like submit some recommendation letters, and the recommendation letters will just be wishy-washy. But if you want to give out the recommendation letters, make sure it has a letterhead of the person, like the institution. Maybe, okay, I want to get a recommendation from my university or somewhere, maybe African Union or something like that. let it have, the letterhead be signed, if possible, even if they have a stamp, let them stamp it. Not like you submit a recommendation letter, it doesn't have recommendation letter, it doesn't have a signature, it doesn't have, someone will know that maybe you were the one who even wrote the recommendation letter and not an organization. So show credibility, show like ensure that when you're submitting applications, you're submitting very, very strong applications. And also some applications will also ask for links to your work. Please, that's one thing. That was why I say that your digital footprint is very, very important. Make sure you have something they can actually like go online to check and see. I remember I judged an application, I think earlier this year or late last year, and the guy was actually the guy actually won that opportunity. And what actually helped the person was that by the time I checked the guys, I see his application was very strong, everything he wrote on point. And when I went to check the links of his works, he had a lot to actually put out there. Like I was just seeing a lot of things. I was like, no, this is very strong. This is a very strong application. And that was it. And I believe with this, I've come to the end of my conversation today. Thank you very much. I would like to just chip something in. Sorry. So talking about I think I was reflecting on this like some weeks ago there about that. I remember I was in a conversation with I was in a program with a friend of mine, and they were talking about some of the things we actually possess. And me, I was choosing some other things, and she said me I'm competitive. That me I'm competitive. So when she said I'm competitive, it was like I don't think I'm competitive, but I think she said it from the angle of the fact that from the fact that maybe I apply for a lot of things, I'm always trying to win things and everything. So I was just thinking about life that naturally being competitive isn't something I really want for myself, so to say. But then sometimes we live in a world whereby it creates that sense of being competitive in you if you need to get some things. Because honestly, on your own, you may be doing some things, but when you know that you're applying for something and the competition is fierce, you're thinking about some other profiles, and those profiles are crazy. You want to actually see how you can push yourself out there. But naturally, if the world is not structured that way, or the world system is not structured that way, it might just be that idea of maybe me just trying to just do my thing and not care about competing with anybody. Like, I beg, run your race, make I run my race. But it's just how the world is. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah. So when it comes to utilizing multiple profile, especially as a public speaker, how important are certifications and also experience? So one thing I would say, certifications may be important, but honestly, I wouldn't say, maybe for me, yes, they are good. Certifications are good, especially when it comes to public speaking, but they may not necessarily be like, I'm not a what's it called? I'm not an expert when it comes to public speaking. I know a friend of mine who is, or someone I know, an acquaintance of mine who is, her name is Temi Badru. She's a very amazing public, speaker. And for her, I don't think maybe she actually, to the best of, I don't really know much, but I don't think it was really more. I don't think it was about certifications for her. For her, I think it was more about experience and actually starting from somewhere. And talking about experience, yes, I would say yes to experience much more than certifications. I would say certifications might be something you may want to get along that, but some people may just end certifications and they may not even still be good and just keep amassing certifications. But I would say experience trumps what's it called certifications for me. So for her, I remember that was some years ago, which was quite a long time. This Temi Badri I'm talking about, she's very big. She does like compares for top organizations, even like for the government, federal government, even presidents, and even like world like she's big. That's just it. So for her, I remember like some years ago, she actually did MC for a very small organization I was part of, and she started from there, and she started doing it from there, like that. And she actually talks a lot about people recommending her. Maybe she does like public speaking for this organization today, and she, oh, this girl, she's very good. Another organization will recommend a bigger organization, bigger, and now she's like a very big, like when they want to talk about people who actually like compares like do compares for what's it called now, big organizations in Nigeria. She's part of the top people you would actually think of. So experience actually is very good. You can also do certifications along the way, because sometimes too, through certifications, you can also like, there's some things that you may just think you're good at, maybe talking about public speaking, and you are just doing it maybe by experience and you're getting better. Because one thing about skills is that you get better. The more you do something, the more the better you are. But sometimes too, maybe through certifications, they may actually teach you about. So sometimes I wouldn't want you to look at it from the angle of maybe certifications matter, but what you get, like the content, what you're learning from, getting the certifications. Maybe they may teach you, okay, in the certification made program, they may actually like just tell you about some things you may not necessarily know about public speaking, that maybe they would just like, make you stand out or something like that, which can also help as well. So that's what I would say. So experience is very good. And also, I always tell people, do not despise the days of little beginning in your journey in life. Do not despise, it's in the Bible, do not despise the days of little beginning. Please, some people want to make it big and they just want to make it, they just want to start big. Life is not like that. And for you to be able to be, for you to be relevant globally, I always tell people, the first opportunity you may get may not necessarily be on the global stage, may not necessarily be on a global platform. Some people are actually that lucky, they will start with global platform. Yes. But for some of us, it may be starting with an opportunity in Lagos. My first fully funded opportunity was where? It was in Ascon, Badagry, Lagos. That was the first fully funded opportunity I got. The second one I got was Ghana. That was the second one I got. The third one I got was now US. Yes, that was it. But sometimes it may not necessarily be, you may not necessarily start, big. Start small and build your capacity. Yes, that's what I would say. So experience is very important. So let me start with gaining global relevance. A lot to do with doing something online, video online. So doing something online, I know I already reiterated the fact that find something you want to put out there. If it's maybe about, if you feel like you are good with creating food, or like CCME, if you feel like you want to do something entrepreneurial, find a niche first. That's the first thing you have to do. And when you find that niche, create content around that niche you want to, put out there. That's very important. Then also, one thing I always tell you, if you want to, you have to be very, very intentional and strategic. For example, I know people who want to do something around what's it called now? Maybe they want to do something around let's say, yeah, so let me say this. On Facebook, I see some people, they say they want to be relevant globally, but their Facebook, if you go there, like the lady I said, okay, she said she was into gender advocacy and you are seeing slaying pictures there. Of course, it doesn't mean that you should not post your pictures, but when people go through your profile, they should be able to see what you are doing. So like you're online, like how can we optimize our profiles? You can optimize your profile by actually like putting out content related to your niche on social media. And again, maybe for example on Facebook, do not allow people to tag you anyhow. Don't allow people to tag you, because when people tag you, people will tag you into irrelevant things and they'll start putting a lot of things. I don't allow people to tag me on Facebook. If you check my Facebook, the only thing is I know Facebook can be outdated and people be like, oh, who uses Facebook? You may see me as old school, but Facebook has been very, very like instrumental to my journey as a person, as a young leader, anyways. So yeah, for me, Facebook still be for me. So if you go on Facebook, like really you all the things you see, they're my content on gender advocacy, on being a grad student, on academic excellence, on things like that. That's what you see all through. You're not seeing content about something unrelated or something like that. Everything is always like, this thing. Although for me, I dance on social media anyways, but that's just something I do for fun. Like, okay, life is not about, it's not all about being serious anyways, but that's just like something that I do for fun, really. But then let people see that, that track record. My Twitter too, I don't retweet on Twitter. It's a what's it called? It's one of my principles. I only retweet when people tell me to retweet for them, and that's even once in a while. So if you check my Twitter, I am very intentional. If you check my Twitter, you don't just see like random tweets of people on my this thing. You check my Twitter, everything you see are my posts, my own tweets themselves, not like retweeting here and there or something like that. That's what I do. So you always see my own voice, everything I say on my distance. So then another thing, for example, if you want to optimize it, let's start with LinkedIn. If you want to optimize your LinkedIn, first and foremost, ensure that you have a very good what's it called now? And profile, is it profile picture now or headline and headshots? Yeah, I can't remember the exact name. LinkedIn, I don't know the name they use, but something like profile picture, something like that. Use a very professional picture. Then ensure that what you're actually like saying about yourself, like the bio, actually talks about your own experience. Let people see that, okay, this is it. Then there are different like sections for LinkedIn. Always update it. So for me, like every like 3 months, so to say, I always try to update like new updates in my life on my LinkedIn. There's section for education on LinkedIn, for awards on LinkedIn, for publications on LinkedIn, for experience on LinkedIn. I always ensure that if I have a new experience, I update it, a new what's it called? I always, that's one thing I do on LinkedIn. Very, very important. For some people, you've checked that LinkedIn, what they have there is something they've done like maybe 3 years ago. They are not updated. Although it's fine, like I said, we have people who do not necessarily care about these things and they are doing well. I have friends that are doing very, 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 very well. And if you check their LinkedIn, you only see very, you see like someone like Okonjo Iweala. If you check Okonjo Iweala's LinkedIn, she doesn't have much on her LinkedIn, but then she's a force. She's strong. If you check some people that we really admire, if you check their LinkedIn, you won't see much, but they are big. They are big. They don't have to announce themselves on LinkedIn, but they are big. But for people who are still trying to, do something, or maybe who care about things like this, try to always update your new updates on your LinkedIn profile. That way you're optimizing it. When anyone checks your what's it called LinkedIn, they will see what you are doing. Your Facebook, to use professional picture, use, yeah, do not let people tag you. Ensure that your niche, you show things about your niche regularly. Instagram too, when it comes to Instagram, you can also do that. A very good profile picture. And also, one thing I noticed about Instagram is big on beauty, aesthetics. Although for me, you wouldn't go to my Instagram page and say it's aesthetically appealing. Anyways, I used to be big on it being, that way like some years ago, but not anymore because it was a lot of work for me. Because I was trying to create my Instagram in such a way that the post on my left would be something about maybe my picture, the middle would be like quotes, then the right would be, but I felt like it was a lot for me then, so I just stopped. But if you are intentional, it's something you can do. You can create a kind of, then there's a way people do it whereby they create a kind of color chrome for themselves, whereby maybe any post they make on their, what's it called, on their Instagram, we have this red feel, we have this yellow feel, they create a color. So that's one thing people do too. So that's one way. Twitter too, update your what's it called, your profile. You can update your different things. Then on my Instagram too, another thing I did was that I have the highlights on Twitter. I created a kind of color for them whereby I give highlights of some of the things, some of the updates in my life and things like that. So yeah, that way you can actually optimize your profile. Basically, if you have more questions about this profile optimization or specific questions, I'm open to answering them. Yeah, thank you very much.